Hello and welcome to the Remedyfibers podcast. I'm your host Jillian and we are on our way to Stitches West. We are now leaving the Stitches West Yarn Festival and I had such a great time, and stay tuned to see what I bought. Hello and welcome to the Remedyfibers podcast, a podcast about knitting and crochet hosted by me, Jillian. So I just came back from Stitches West maybe about an hour-ish ago, and it was so fun. I really enjoyed myself there. I have some pros, I have some cons, and I'll tell you all about it right now. So I was able to get a zip car because, as many of you know, my car is no longer working. It's at the mechanic and it's been there since Tuesday. And I got a zip car. Bright came with me and we headed over to Sacramento, which is about 20 minutes away from us. We walked around and it's not playtime. Benny started squeaking his toy, so I had to change our view. But everything was amazing. We got in with no problem. It wasn't packed and I felt safe while being there. And it was just really nice to just see yarn again, especially in person, and feeling it and just looking at my list and seeing what I needed to get. The good thing is that I was able to finish my weekender in time. The wool wash came just in time last week so I can wash it and block it. And I got a compliment on how great it looked, so I was really excited. I wanted to find yarn to make a second weekender, but it just wasn't in the cards for me. So I'll show you what I purchased at Stitches West. And remember last week I said I was going to use this mystery skein that was in stash for the rocket tee? Well, I got my Knit Picks mohair lace weight yarn in the mail last week, and I just did not like the color combination. I did not realize how much pink and purple was in here until I wound up the skein, which I wish I would have did that before ordering this. And so the whole point of the rocket tee is to knit fingering and then switch to the lace weight and back and forth, so it kind of makes a stripe effect. And I just wasn't a fan of this color combination. If I was to use this yarn for the rocket tee, I would have picked either a yellow, a purple, or a hot pink, which this does not go with it. And the reason why I went with this color was because I thought I was holding them double, but that's not how the pattern is written. Some people on the project page did hold it double, but then I'm assuming I would need more yarn for that. So I decided not to use this skein for the rocket tee. And so today my goal was to find a matching skein to go along with this. And that's where I picked up 100 Ravens. and I just love the color combo. I also took this skein with me just so I can make sure I will like the combination. And this is superwash, 75% merino and 25% nylon. It's 4-ply, and the colorway is called This Is The Way. So I stopped by their booth. It was kind of busy there, and I just really loved how this color combination would turn out because of the light lilacs in here. But also it's so variegated that I think I will just have such a fun creating this rocket tee. I also received my wool wash, my Eucalan lavender wool wash from Knit Picks last week. Was it last week? Yeah, this past week. And that's when I was able to finally block my weekender. I was a little worried that it was too oversized because it looked really big when it was wet, but I laid it flat to dry, and I love how it came out. It actually kept me really warm. Surprisingly, today it was in the low 60s, so the weather was just perfect for my sweater. Thanks to Pam, I did make a list of what I wanted to get while at Stitches West. And so I picked up some self-striping sock yarn. It's called Scrumptious Pearl, and I really love the colors of it. I love how thick the strips are gonna work up, and I also can't stand this dog logo. It's so cute, and I think that's why I gravitated to it as well. But I love the pinks, the grays, the dark grays, and I think I'm gonna make this for my boss. She told me she would like black socks, but I think this is a compromise between a pop of color and neutrals that she would like. This one is 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon, and surprisingly there's 400 yards in this skein, so I really like that yardage. I'm thinking of making maybe ankle length socks. When I make the calf length socks, I still have a lot left over, so I'm thinking if I make ankle length, I can probably get 2 pairs, 4 socks out of this one ball, so we'll see. Last but not least, I maybe walked around 5 times trying to figure out if I wanted fingering weight yarn, if I wanted worsted weight yarn. That was what my go-to options were this time around, and I decided to go with fingering weight. I decided to go with the Pedal Party crop top because I've talked about it so much, and so I went with Seismic Yarn. This dye company is located in San Francisco, and I just really love their customer service. There were a lot of booths to choose from, and they had their children with them. They asked me if I wanted to see a magic show, and the children used this black light so that you can see. Some of the yarn had, I don't know what it's called, but when you put a black light on it, you can kind of see the behind the invisible colors. And so I went with this rainbowish pastel rainbow skein. It's called Seismic Butter Fingering, and it's 100% superwash extra fine merino, and there's 437 yards in each skein, so I really love the yardage. The colorway is called Topol, which is a gemstone collection, and it was between this and a really strong purple, but I said I have a purple sweater that I just made. This has a lot of purple in it, so I went out of my comfort zone, and this still has purple and pink in it, but also has green, blues, yellows, and this is gonna be for my Pedal Party crop top, so I can't wait to knit it. But overall, I really loved my experience at Stitches West. This was my first time ever being there. I even saw Frost Yarns, which I took a class with her back in 2018, I believe, for the Alex Creates Learn How to Dye Yarn. And it was really nice to catch up and to reintroduce myself to her. I didn't get to see anyone else because this is one of the cons that I learned after the fact. There was actually a BIPOC, Black Indigenous People of Color meetup happening at 2 o'clock, and my rental car was from 9:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. And so I wish I would have saw it. I saw it after the fact when I was looking at the email that got sent out the morning of. I saw it in the afternoon. I should have looked at it in the morning. And I said, oh, I missed out. I wish I would have been able to attend. But unfortunately, then maybe I can plan for next year if it's still going to be held in Sacramento. Other than that, I really loved my experience. I really loved seeing all of the different colorways, all the different creators, and it was even a little bit inspiring to maybe one day have my own table. That would be really cool, but not right now in this part of my life. But I'm really thankful that I had my partner there. He was sitting in the back, and actually one of the other yarn husbands went up to him and said, "Oh, it's good to see you. I thought I would be the only one here." And he was patiently waiting for me, letting me take my time. And it just was really nice to have that support, because believe it or not, I was really nervous to go. I don't know why. Maybe just because of being in a crowd of people, and also spending money always gets me like a little anxious for some reason. But it was nice to have him there. He drove, so I got to relax on the way to the yarn festival. And definitely it's an event that I would love to go back to. I'm focusing on more fingering weight items just because I'm getting ready for the hot summer heats. And so even though I wanted to get worsted and more chunkier yarns, this will work too. Right now I'm just working on this crochet blanket, and I can't remember what the name of it is. I don't really think there is a pattern name for it. I saw a YouTube video where you just make a chain as long as you want it. There's no stitch count, and then you're just, it's kind of like the basket weave stitch, but instead of doing 4 by 4, you're doing 1 by 1 stitches, double crochets. So when the stitch is in the back, you're doing back front, back front, back post, front post, back front, front post. And then when you go to the next round, you do the reverse. So all your back posts get front posts, and all your front posts get back posts. And this is the pattern that comes about. I think my crochet hook is a bit too small because the fabric is pretty tight. I would have like maybe a size up crochet hook. But this is one of my skein, a lot of my skeins. I think I have 5 of these. It was one huge skein that I wound up into smaller balls, and I just kind of want to be done with it, put it all in a blanket and gift it away. So that's what I'm working on right now. But today I also was able to try a new coffee shop to me. It's called Phil's Coffee, and even though it was pretty good, I do not think it was worth the 20-minute wait. I think it took me 10 minutes to order and then 10 minutes to actually get the coffee. And because we had the zip car, we also took Benny to the dog park, and he is white. Even though he didn't have any friends there, he also knows how to have a good time by himself. And he was just sniffing and walking around. There's a local dog park to us that's separated for small dogs and large dogs. And because of his size, he was the only one there. But it is Saturday, and most people do not spend their Saturdays at the dog park, but we do. But believe it or not, the anticipation going to Stitches West, I was having dreams about yarn. I was so anxious about being in a convention type center. I was so nervous. I overworked myself, and now I'm tired. I'm drained, and I'm not sure what I'm gonna cast on first. I think I'm going to make a swatch for the Rocket Tee, let that block and sit to make sure I'm on gauge. And then because I'm so comfortable with the vanilla sock pattern, I think I'm just gonna continue to make that. Instead of making it so long in the calf, just make it a little bit shorter. And I have that pattern, I've done the pattern 3 times, so this will be my 4th time working on the pattern. So I have that pattern pretty down packed, and I can start that too. And then once I finish the Rocket Tee, I will start working on my pedal party crop top. And then the socks are kind of just like when I have time, when I have when I don't want to think about anything. That's the kind of project that it will be. But I'm happy with the amount of money that I spent. I definitely kept in budget. And I'm also happy that I made a list in advance. If I was to go to another yarn festival, I would do the same thing, because it can really be tempting once you start seeing kits and just different color combinations and what people are wearing, you can really start to lose your mind and your wallet just kind of flies away. I think for me, I did see a lot of kits for shawls, and I'm just not in a stage to want to make shawls, so that wasn't something that I was particularly excited about. I thought I would see more self-striping yarns, and some of the ones that I had searched I thought I would find, but either I was too excited, maybe they sold out. I didn't see a lot of the sock yarn, self-striping sock yarn that I wanted. It just so by chance that I went into a booth and found the one that I showed you, but that one wasn't the one in particular that I had talked about last week. So I'm still happy with my choice, but I definitely wish there was more of a dedicated sock booth. A lot of the booths were just, of course, variety that was there. I would have liked to have seen more sweater kits. There was a Love Note by Tin Can Knits sweater kit, and although it was beautiful, I felt like it was too expensive for the quality, meaning it was so sheer that why would you spend that much money and you still have to wear something underneath. So it was beautiful, it was nice, but I want something where it's not going to be see-through, and that's something I worry a little bit about the Rocket Tee, is it being see-through, but I guess that one I'll just have to work around it. There's people walking by and they definitely can see me here, and it's like so awkward. Even when I was recording at the festival, it can be really awkward recording yourself or recording the yarn, and I always get weirded out when you're recording and people are in the video, because what if, don't you have to consent to those things? Or maybe that's just my HR hat in play, but I just kind of feel weird like recording people without their permission, and it just kind of seems a little bit awkward. Even though on YouTube we love to watch vlogs, we love to watch yarn shops and yarn anything, but when you're actually the one behind the camera or in front of the camera at these live public places, it can be pretty awkward. So I'm gonna start to wrap it up. I didn't really have much for this week's episode, but I hope you enjoyed the footage. I hope you enjoyed the yarn that I purchased. I'm excited to work on these projects and show you how they come out, let you know what my thoughts are on them, and definitely let me know which one of the skeins that I bought was your favorite, and if you attended Stitches West, what was your favorite part of the festival. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you and your family are doing well, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.